Oh boy. We have ourselves some waiver news here, folks. The Vancouver Canucks have placed Erik Brannstrom on waivers. And I think a lot of Canucks fans are going out there and wondering why. We're like the Backstreet Boys out here. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache, because Erik Brannstrom has been a very interesting defenseman for the Canucks. I was going to say a very good one, but I honestly don't know if that's entirely true. You see, Erik Brannstrom possesses a skill set on the Vancouver Canucks that literally only two other guys have on D. Filip Hronek and Quinn Hughes are the only other guys that can effectively move the puck and do some creative offensive things in the zone, maybe get some shots through, etc., etc. It's not like anybody else can do that other than Hughes and Hronek. You talk about Soucy, Myers, especially Noah Juulsen. Hell nah, none of these guys can do that. But Erik Brannstrom has gone through the ringer the past little while here. Healthy scratches, low ice times. Rick Tocchet playing guys like Guillaume Brisebois, Juulsen, Forbort, and Desharnais over Brannstrom. And while it is true that these ideas are kind of confusing, why are they going with Juulsen instead? Why is Brannstrom not playing? Why are the Canucks prohibiting themselves from using a talented, puck-moving, offensively minded defenseman? Why are they not doing this? It seems like everything that we have seen out of guys in the past, like, for example, Vasily Podkolzin, or Andrei Kuzmenko, or right now with Nils Höglander. It seems like all those guys and their stories and treatments under Rick Tocchet has been kind of replicated here with Erik Brannstrom, except, of course, Brannstrom is a D, those other guys are all forwards. Rick Tocchet has a very distinct quote-unquote dog house, where you can tell a player that he is not using is not really well appreciated, nor does Tocchet actually just like the guy's style of play at the time of that moment. And Erik Brannstrom has been healthy scratched for a while now. A lot of people were confused about it. It seems like now, with him being placed on waivers, firstly, there's no way he clears, right? There's no way a team is going to go out there and look at him and be like, yeah, we cannot use a guy like that. Let's just let him go through. I wouldn't be surprised if there are multiple waiver claims for this guy. And inevitably, the one from the higher-ranked team would eventually just be the destination. But Erik Brannstrom is an interesting player because he started out the Canucks tenure that he had very positively. He was scoring points, he was looking good, and a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, like Quinn Hughes number 2, Quinn Hughes light. He's got that offensive puck-moving skill, and it was on display of his at the start of the season. These are skills that he had had as a prospect. Draft eligible in 2016-17, he was one of the first ever players drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights, and then developing in Ottawa after that Mark Stone trade. A lot of people were saying, okay, yeah, this is going to be a good defenseman, he's going to be a good pickup, he's going to develop. And it is true that he did slowly get into speed and find himself in a decently prominent spot with the Ottawa Senators D-Corps, but he wasn't good enough to stick around. Then he got sent over to Colorado, and he wasn't good enough to stick around there either. Placed on waivers, claimed on waivers by Vancouver. And Erik Brannstrom, in his limited Vancouver Canucks stint, is signed on till the end of this season. Yes, I mean, he's making less than $1 million, but he had 8 points in 28 games played, and that's not that bad, right? On pace for 19 points in 68 games played. That's better than the point production he had last year, right? Either way, Erik Brannstrom and the development that he has had as of late, you know, the lack of ice time, lack of meaningful opportunities here. He hasn't played a game since last year. Rick Tocchet seems to not like what he is seeing out of this guy, especially considering some of the poorer underlying statistics, especially as of late. Let's go out there and look at some comments on the Canucks sub and read what they're going over here. Head scratcher. He's as good as gone. God forbid we have 2 defensemen on the team capable of moving the puck out of our own zone. His underlying stats were amongst the worst on the team. I was pretty surprised too, because eye test-wise he looks good, but in reality he has been dreadful for us. The eye test looked good because he had the most sheltered minutes, which means we got our disaster class second pairing taking up even more tough minutes. And I think that comment from Ambiance really does explain a lot, because we did make a video earlier on in the season talking about how the Brannstrom-Desharnais pairing was one of the best in the NHL in terms of its expected goals percentage and everything like that. And I feel like now, in retrospect, when acknowledging how poorly the Canucks defense was playing on that second pairing, that Soucy-Myers pairing in the middle part of the year, when you acknowledge how bad they were, it's only natural that Brannstrom and Desharnais would be better, right? Not just because they're not as utilized as that Myers-Soucy pairing, but because the matchups were a lot more in Brannstrom's favor. So I really do think that this perspective is an illuminating one, that because Brannstrom looked good, because he was moving the puck well, because he had some moments of good underlying metrics, a lot of that could be chalked up to just lack of extremely difficult competition. I don't know, let's go out there and read some more. Why waive him now and not wait until Filip Hronek returns to the lineup? It feels like we must have another move coming. Waiving him on game 4 to 5 of the road trip otherwise wouldn't make sense. Maybe Dakota Joshua is close to returning, or we're finally calling up one of our D prospects? It seems like the writing was on the wall. Tocchet simply did not trust him defensively. His overall numbers were fine, but that's because his minutes were heavily sheltered. The moment we were given a real workload, he got exposed. As much as the team and this fan base dunks on Soucy and Myers, they're playing heavy defensive minutes currently and are for the most part treading water. He was averaging a goal against cause per game while being sheltered. Great player if we were trying to win 5-3, not so great if we are trying to win 2-1. I think that perspective's pretty illuminating as well. You don't want to go out there and win games 5-3, 6-5, 8-7. You want to win your games solidly, in a way that allows everybody to succeed. And if you're succumbing 3, 4, 5 goals in a game, you're probably getting some holes somewhere, either via your goaltending or via your defense pairings. And for Erik Brannstrom, I get it if you're a run-and-gun style of hockey team, you really like to run at the score, you like to stat pad. I think a team like Columbus, for example, would really thrive with a guy like Erik Brannstrom in their system. I feel like he fits their mold perfectly. There are other teams around the NHL where high-scoring games are much more valued. I'd say Anaheim or Philadelphia. There are some other teams that could use Erik Brannstrom more and believe in him more than what the Vancouver Canucks have in this guy right now. There's no way that he clears, right? I don't know. Let's read one more comment here on the Canucks thread. ALLVIN tries to bring in some puck movement on the back end, but Tocchet is obsessed with his lumbering giants. The only puck moving Brannstrom has done is moving the puck from the O-zone to the back of our net. I feel like we're really starting to see, let's say, a turning point with this fan base in regards to Erik Brannstrom. And I know it's like classic Canucks syndrome. Oh, because the guy's not on the team anymore, now we can talk crap about him. Like, it happens all the time. People defending Canucks players, and then when they get traded, people don't defend them anymore. But, like, I feel like here, Erik Brannstrom was never going to be a super amazing defensive guy. And that was always going to be evident here. He had his moments, he had his points, but at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough for Rick Tocchet to fully trust this guy. And that's all there is to it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Erik Brannstrom getting waived. Do you think he'll clear? If not, which teams do you think will be able to use him to the best of his ability and to their own benefit? We had seen other guys around the NHL get placed on waivers and gone through no claims, no whatever. I think Daniel Sprong is the big one that everybody was talking about from earlier last week. But anyways, Erik Brannstrom, yay or nay? It seems like this team is fully committed to using Guillaume Brisebois, and or they're fully committed to making a trade for another defenseman, and or Filip Hronek is coming back soon. Hughes, not Hronek. So Hughes, Myers, Soucy, Desharnais, Juleson, Brisebois, and then Forbort as the extra. And then Friedman. No Erik Brannstrom here, folks. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.